Here. Hi, I'm Pony, Bulls Revolution. We're just happy to be here and stand for something positive. A lot's been going on in our community, and there's a lot of people not doing nothing. So we're just going to stand in our commitment, stay powerful, and empower other young people to stay alive and live healthy. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, I'm here to show my support for the Stop the BS rally. I'm here along with Joseph Jefferson. He was a dear friend of mine, and he will be missed dearly.
Thank you.
He knocked it off my head. We need to communicate that. I don't know if she wants to, but there's a trans girl I used to argue with.
You say actually you want to say
Would you care to say any statements regarding the rally here today?
I think that it cannot be stressed enough that we need to come together and have a real dialogue both in and outside of the LGBT community. Stop the bullying and suicide once and for all.
Thank you.
Stop the bullying! Stop the suicide! Louder, y'all! Stop the bullying! Stop the suicide! Stop the bullying! Stop the suicide! Stop the bullying! Stop the suicide! Let them hear you on the other side of the park! Stop the bullying! Stop the suicide! Stop the bullying! Stop the suicide! Stop the bullying! Stop the suicide! Welcome Washington Square Park. Welcome all the organizations, all the folks who are here for the Stop the BS rally. My name is Kenyon Farrell. I'm the Executive Director of Queers for Economic Justice here. I want to welcome everybody that came out today and all the other folks who are here in the park. Tokes and I, GMAD has really led the idea for this particular campaign, and we've been talking about it for several weeks. And then, as most of you know, the idea for this campaign initially started because of many of the suicides we've been seeing happening around the country with young, LGBT queer folks in colleges and in other places, high school youth committing suicide. And this weekend, many of us here were personally touched when one of our own, Joseph Jefferson, and I see his picture on people's chests, also took his own life this weekend. And I think for many of us, the issue was not just a political issue at that time, but really became very personal to us. If you haven't known somebody who's already committed suicide, or you haven't thought about it, yourself and in your own life. So I want to thank everybody for coming today to represent, to honor all of the young people whose lives that they've lost, and also to say to folks who are in a similar position and feeling a certain amount of darkness in their life, that not only does it get better, but we have to try to make it better, right? We have to try to make it better, and it doesn't just necessarily get better on its own, and I think that's part of what we're here to say. So to kick us off today, I want to bring Justin Thompson from Gay Men of African Descent to the stage. Give him a round of applause.
My name is Justin. I'm basically normal, but others don't think so. Have you ever had a drive-by slurry? You're a faggot! Yelled from a moving car. Have you ever been scapegoated? It's all because you're gay. Condemned because of who God made you? You're making a mockery of my God. You're going to hell. Ever hear these words? Do they haunt you at night? I haven't. They spin in my head. Faggot, queer, homo. That's why I eat. That's why I sleep. You ever have my thoughts? You ever think of taking the gun to your head, piercing your brain and spinning your skull, a pool of your own blood around you? Setting your wrist the right way, so that you'll surely die. Down that bottle of pills or that bottle of poison, killing yourself from the inside. You ever think dying is better than living? I thought death was my only way out. I desired the grave. Nobody's going to miss you. The world hates you. You are unworthy. You ever need to deny yourself? Be something you are not? Told that who you hung out with was wrong? Who you are is a lie? The you doesn't exist? Who you are isn't real? You're fake! That's what I am. So next time you think of gay, think of me. Suicidal, condemned, fake, targeted, blamed. Normal in only my eyes.
So next I want to invite Carl Siciliano from the Ali Forney Center. Carl.
Thank you all. I think that we have to, as an LGBT movement, better recognize and acknowledge the extent to which young people are paying the heaviest price in the fight against homophobia in our society. If we think about what's happened in the last 10 years, statistics that would show that about 10,000 LGBT youth have committed suicide over the last 10 years. And statistics would show that about 100,000 LGBT youth have been kicked out of their homes and thrown to the streets in the last 10 years. And I don't know how we can look at what's happening in our society and think that any other segment of our society is paying such a heavy, heavy, heavy price. And I think we have to do two things. I think one, we have to be much more clear about the fact that homophobia is an attack on children. That when people say evil things about gay people, when people say hateful things about gay people and lesbian people and transgender people, they're attacking our kids. And we have to be really clear that that's immoral. It's immoral to say these things. It's immoral to try to promote homophobia in our society. Any society has an obligation and a responsibility to protect its young people. And homophobia is hurting our young people in a terrible, terrible way. And so I think that we as a movement have to be much more loud and clear about that, and much more outraged about expressions of homophobia. You know, I'm a grown-up man, and I know who I am, and when people say horrible things, it kind of rolls off my shoulders. But when I was 15 or 16, if somebody would say something terrible about me, I didn't know myself well enough to be able to tell. You know, I'm proud of who I am, but I'm grown. I've gotten to a place in my life where, you know, I'm just proud to be a gay man, and I love myself for being a gay man. But it was a process, and it took a long time. And these religious and political leaders that want to spread homophobia are really hurting kids more than anybody else. More than anybody else. And there's only one other thing that I want to say, which is I think we need to actually demand more of the LGBT movement, of our organizations, of our bleeding advocacy organizations that are fighting to protect gay people. Because I think that if you look at the priorities, you don't see enough resources and enough attention going into speaking out against how badly so many of our kids are being hurt. And it's like it starts with us. It's easy to say, you know, Carl Palladino is the enemy. It's easy to say, you know, the Cardinal or the Pope or whatever are wrong. And it's very true. It's all very true that the homophobia they spread is wrong. But the gay community itself has to be much more focused on protecting our youth. Every youth who's been thrown out to the streets should have a place to stay. Every kid should have access in their home, in their schools, to anti-bullying protections and to gay, straight alliances. And every youth should have access to a drop-in center where they can go and be safe and protected. And for that to happen, the gay community needs to fight to make it happen. And so what I hope is that these horrible suicides, these terrible sufferings that we're going through, can be a wake-up call to our community. community, and that we can fight so much harder and be so much more focused on how hard we need to fight to protect our youth. So thank you very much.
Okay, so next up is Domingo from Hendrick Martin Institute. Okay, not. Next, Ken Alston. Ken here? Okay, perfect.
Hello everybody. This song is the song that I'm going to sing. It's a song that I wrote some time ago, about a year or two ago, when I was thinking about the concept of things that were happening to me in my own life and where I just didn't know how to get over some things that I was going through. And so I wrote this piece. Hopefully it'll speak to the situation. I believe that it's been speaking to the situation as I sing it to myself, so hopefully it'll do something for you. I had to write to fight for my life. I am significant. He made me just a little lower than the angels. And I don't want no rocks to cry out in my place. I have to write to fight for me. When he said, write your story, I sat down to write. When he said, share your testimony, I cried all day and night. When he said, share your story, I became free. And all the pain in my past, it's no longer holding me. Write your story. Share your testimony. Whoa. I had to write to fight for my life. I am significant, and I don't want no rocks to cry out in my place. I have to write to fight for me. When he said, write your story, I sat down to write. When he said, share your testimony, I cried all day and night. When he said, tell your story, I became free. And all the pain in my past, it's no longer holding me. I'll write my story. I'm gonna write my story. I'm gonna write my story. Is anybody here gonna write? I'm gonna write my story. I'm gonna write my story. I encourage you to write. You go on and write your story. Come on and write. I'm gonna write my story. My story. Write your story. All right.
All right, next up we have Sequoia from the HMI. Sequoia from Hendrick Martin Institute. All right. Not here yet? Okay, so we'll move to the next speaker, which is Drew. I don't want to mess this up. Tagliabue from P-Flag.